you have confidence in elections, in politics, in America's leaders? Well, a new organization led by a bipartisan group of former elected officials is out with a new poll that shows an erosion of faith in our democracy.
The Democracy Defense Project blames it on politicians undermining election integrity by pushing a false narrative about stolen elections. And now they're working to restore faith in the system. And the leaders of the Ohio branch of the organization sat down with Colleen Marshall to talk about how they're doing that.
And they gave me a first look at this, an exclusive look at this poll that's just out. 8 battleground states are represented in the Democracy Defense Project. And that includes Ohio, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Arizona. Each has a Democrat and a Republican leading the way. Former governors or former members of Congress. Here in Ohio, former Republican Secretary of State Ken Blackwell and former Democratic Congressman Zach Space are working together to try to restore public confidence in elections and government.
If people can't have faith in the integrity of that process, that's the beginning of the end of our democratic constitutional republic as we know it.
The division is disconcerting and frankly dangerous, and that's one of the reasons I'm involved in this and being able to work across the aisle. Yeah, Ken and I don't agree on a lot when it comes to our political perspectives, but we agree on one thing, and that is that elections in this country are run in such a way that your vote is properly counted. Elections are not rigged, despite what you might hear from those who may have political motivations to cast doubt.
The Democracy Defense Project's new poll shows an erosion of faith in elections and government. 53% of Ohioans polled say the state is off on the wrong track. Only 28% said things are headed in the right direction. Their number one concern is the economy, inflation, and the job market, followed by education and school funding, and then taxes. As for leadership, both President Donald Trump and Governor Mike DeWine have unfavorable ratings of 51%.
Look, we have a governor here in Ohio who has done some pretty good things, frankly, who won re-election by a wide margin just 2 years ago. And to see his unfavorables as high as they were was a little surprising to me. With respect to President Trump, the turmoil, some of the inconsistencies in the approach, and the uncertainty people, I think, feel about the economy right now is probably driving that. But I was a little more surprised to see the governor's numbers that high.
Space worked against Donald Trump. Blackwell was a supporter.
What I know is that President Trump is a disruptor of what he considers to be a stale status quo. And when you're a disruptor, that in fact puts you on a razor's edge in terms of day-to-day public perception. But the fact of the matter is that he won Ohio by a considerable margin. And as the economy goes up or down, I think his future, the assessments of his standing will go up or down.
But this bipartisan project is not aimed at a single leader or campaign. It's aimed at voters.
Well, I want to see the participation curve go up. That's a real indication to me that more people have a sense of obligation of citizenship to choose their leaders. And that's an indicator that I keep my eye on.
I agree with that assessment. I think voter participation and the number of people that vote is the number one marker in terms of the faith or trust that people have in the process. And of course, there's the aftermath of that as well. And my hope is that regardless of who wins, we can move on. If you're not happy with that result, don't focus on the last election, focus on the next one.
There's much more to the poll, and we are going to make that available online at NBC4i.com. And there is much more to the interview with Ken Blackwell and Zach Space, and we'll have that for you Sunday morning at 10 on the Spectrum.
Thanks for watching. For more NBC4, download the NBC4 streaming app. You'll get free 24/7 local programming streamed straight to your living room. Just search NBC4 Columbus on your Apple TV, Amazon Fire, or Roku.